he said the bosses were kind of poorly designed in some way, and to a degree, I kind of see where he's coming from. A lot of the bosses in Painkiller, they are basically these big, huge bosses. And these bosses, and this kind of doesn't tie into why I like Painkiller, because a lot of these bosses are kind of puzzles, really. They kind of are. And you could say that the bosses are kind of the weakest element of Painkiller in a way, but you could also say that they are the greatest element in certain ways because they are huge and imposing. But I suppose it does give you a different, perspective on the gameplay, because now you have to worry about, the boss trying to kill you, but you don't know how to kill him, and you have to put some thought into it. But I don't know, it doesn't feel very Painkiller-y to me, and that's one minor complaint I have with Painkiller with the bosses. Now, not all the bosses are like this. The first boss most definitely isn't. The first boss is amazing. You just shoot him and damage him, and that is it. I mean, a lot of the bosses have extremely high damaging moves, which can be quite annoying, but, as I say, every game has its flaws. Even Painkiller has its flaws. As I say, making a perfect game is not easy, and that is probably Painkiller's biggest flaw. In a way, the fact that boss fights are kind of puzzles. But that doesn't bother me, because, I just used a guide for them, and, yeah, straightforward and simple after that, obviously. But, it doesn't bother me mainly because, the rest of it is so good. So that's just a minor nitpick I have with the bosses of the game. And, yeah, moving on. The one thing that I really do love about Painkiller, as I mentioned before, is tarot cards and the weapons. And the main reason why I love that is because it gives you that feeling of empowerment. Add to that the metal music, yeah, you feel like a badass. And that's what Painkiller makes you feel like. Which is exactly the same way Chaos Legion tries to make you feel. It tries to make you feel awesome. And that's why Painkiller is so similar to Chaos Legion. It's a very constrained game with secrets, even though there's not as many secrets in that game, but there still are, they're not really secrets, you can see them on the minimap for the most part, but yeah. With secrets, but it's very linear. However, there's lots of stuff to kill and lots of action. And the music that plays while you're doing all this is awesome. And both games make you feel badass because of it. And both games give you the tools to make you feel even more badass. But both games also give you the challenge to make things intense. This is what makes Painkiller a solid game, because it gives you that empowerment, whilst at the same time it gives you a challenge that, keeps things intense. And few of the games manage to do this quite as well as Painkiller, and that is what I love about it. Additionally, if you thought you couldn't be any more powerful in Painkiller, I'm going to get onto the soul mechanic in a minute, but once you collect 66 souls, you turn into a demon, and even though you can't see yourself, basically your eyesight becomes kind of blurry, but you see all enemies, every enemy you see is in kind of a heat-seeking red type color, heat, and you just see them red, all the enemies are red, and you just right click, and anything that you are looking at when you right click them, anything your cursor is on when you right click the enemies, they will just implode into pieces. Now imagine just mashing the right mouse button when you're doing that. You are going to kill tons and tons of enemies without, literally without any effort. A lot of people think that the Berserk ability, the Berserk power-up in Doom, makes you overpowered. Demon Morph in Painkiller makes Berserk power look like a freaking joke. It really does. It is, I've actually said, if I were to have one power from any video game, it would be Demon Morph from Painkiller. It would be, because, you want to you want to push a trolley down the supermarket. You just scream at it, and it moves to the other side. You don't even have to push it. You just scream at it. Imagine how useful Demon Morph would be in day-to-day life. I mean, yeah, sure, it would kill people, but man, forget NASA. If I want to go out into outer space, or send someone into outer space, or shoot someone to the sun, I'll just scream at it, and they'll probably blow up, but they'll be somewhere up there, floating around in space, getting closer towards the sun or something, you know. I've got a very evil mindset, I suppose. But, yeah, the feeling of empowerment is definitely there, and Demon Morph, and to top it all off, it makes you invincible as well. Nothing can kill you when you're Demon Morphed, so yeah, let that sink in for a minute. You are basically just a god when you are in this form. And yeah, eventually you just revert to normal, but my god, like, it just makes you feel so powerful and just adds to it. And the music completely turns off when you do it. So much so that it can actually glitch the music out sometimes, which happens sometimes, you know. But yeah, it's still an amazing feature, and you know, it's quite possibly one of the most badass kind of form of power-ups in a video game, period. Anyways, now we're getting onto the soul mechanic itself, and the good thing about the soul mechanic is it is essentially the replacement of health packs. One thing I hate in first-person shooters, or any shooter for that matter, is health packs. They annoy me, because if there's no health pack in sight, there's no way to heal, and you're constantly on low health. How do you heal? Now in Painkiller, that completely removes that issue, because you can just shoot an enemy and they drop a soul, and that heals you. Every soul you get heals you 1 HP. Now this also makes it very challenging, because even though there are kind of like health packs sort of things, like there's health orbs, which heal you for 25 health, and there's also super health, even though, which heals for 100, even though they exist, you know, you won't find an abundance of them, and you'll need a lot of souls to heal you, you know, periodically, especially if you're playing on Nightmare, because if you're playing on Insomnia, if you go to a checkpoint, you are instantly healed to full. But if you're playing on Nightmare, that doesn't happen anymore. You have to preserve your health. The good thing about souls is you can actually go above your maximum health, and I remember playing the original version of Battle Out of Hell, and there was a tarot card called Health Stealer. I went over 1,000 health, and it's possibly possible to go over infinite health. Obviously, it doesn't actually show, well, not over infinite health, but, you know, like, you can literally have as much health as you like in the original Painkiller Battle Out of Hell. However, like, Health Stealer goes up to 250 max in the patched version, but souls still go further up. Souls still constantly give you more health above the maximum health capacity, which is 250 if you're playing like Painkiller's Battle Out of Hell's patched version, which is awesome. Like, you can literally have as much health as you can get. There's no maximum health or anything like that. Your health is only as much as you are good at. You know, you know, you can tell that you're good at Painkiller when you come out at the end of the level with tons and tons of health. And yeah, it's just really satisfying. And another reason why is because, and even though certain people have complained that souls take a while to pick up, that's the thing. You're constantly on the move, and when you see the soul, you have to constantly grab it. This means you're constantly weaving through enemies, jumping between them, grabbing souls, and then going back to shooting them, jumping between them. So you're constantly moving around, collecting souls, shooting things, and it keeps the gameplay going. It keeps things flowing. That's why the soul mechanic works so well. And plus, you know, as I say, there's, you know, it's better than regenerating health as well by a mile. Like, it makes more sense, and also it just fits in with the game's theme. You know, collecting souls, demonic. I never understood why souls and demons are always so connected together. I suppose if you go to hell, you're kind of a soul, and demons would consume you. I guess that's what a lot of people like to interpret. You know. But yeah, that's why I love the soul mechanic, and it is an awesome mechanic. Now, to finish off this seemingly long video, it's over an hour. I might upload it into parts. I don't know, because I had a hard time with my last upload, which was over an hour. But yeah, I'm going to ask a question. Why should you play Painkiller? Well, that is a simple answer. Basically, if you love fast-paced first-person shooters, and you tire of narrative-driven experiences in modern first-person shooters, or any first-person shooter for that matter, Painkiller is a refreshing experience. it will change your entire outlook on the first-person shooter genre. Even those who aren't big fans of first-person shooters should at least give it a try, because of how different and unique it is. I mean, it's a great game to play when recovering from a video game burnout. I had a burnout of this game, like, well, no, not this game, but I had a burnout of gaming at a certain point, you know, and then I played Painkiller, and it just reminded me of what video games are all about. So, you know, if you are looking to kickstart your passion in gaming, this is certainly a game for you, because you're not going to get a game quite like this, but quite as simple as this, if you know what I mean. Which is perfect for burnout. That's what you want when you have a video game burnout. You want something that's simple, straightforward, easy to pick up and play, but at the same time, you want something interesting, and that's what Painkiller is. So yeah, that's what Painkiller is. Painkiller is what video games are supposed to be about. Pure action-packed gameplay with no additional trimmings. It does exactly what it says on the box, and it does it so well that it needs nothing else. It's the perfect first-person shooter experience for some, but those who enjoy the narrative feeling may be turned off from it. So really, whether or not you should play Painkiller, it all depends on what you come to expect from it, really. That's all that it comes down to. If you expect fast-paced gameplay and you want something straightforward and simple, Painkiller is a must-play. If you're looking for something like Half-Life, which is an immersive experience with lots of kind of subtle story remarks and that lot, and lots of puzzles and platforming, you're not going to get that in Painkiller. But who cares? You should just play it anyways, because it's Painkiller. It's that simple, really. I really don't need to say any more. I think everybody should play this game, even if you're not a first-person shooter fan, because I won't really consider myself the biggest fan of first-person shooters, but this game is just incredible, and everybody, like, it deserves to be played by everybody because of what it stands for as a video game, because of how well designed it is. Now, I think that this format is a lot better to do than actually reviews. I don't know if I'll still do reviews, but I think talking about why, you know, certain video games do certain things is more interesting, and people can still formulate their own viewpoints just from this alone. And as such, I'm hoping to keep doing this if it works. So, yeah. If you watched, thanks a lot for watching, and hopefully you'll check more of these out. And as I say, I am a bit busy, you know, at the moment with work and stuff, but, you know, once I get around to a time where I'm not, I'll hopefully be doing more content, and hopefully you'll be checking me out. But yes, thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll check out all the other blogs on cynicalgamingblog.wordpress.com. Yeah, it's very basic, very unprofessional. I don't consider myself to be professional yet. Hopefully one of these days I will be, but until then, I'm just going to be, you know, a straightforward blogger who's passionate about video games, and I hope you are as well, because I love video games, and that's what drove me to do these videos. And, you know, I'm never doing Let's Plays again. Screw it. Let's Plays almost made me want to rage quit YouTube. I don't know how anyone can do them, personally, and this is just a mini rant, but yeah. That's a rant for another day, but yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.